We have two of the greatest examples in the whole company that just joined us. I don't know if you guys, everybody just saw that Craig LePage and Shelly Johnson are here. Shelly and Craig, you guys. So Shelly came and visited us before. I can't remember if it was this call or one of these calls we did as a leadership call. She came in, and we love Shelly. These two are down there where Allison's, very close to where Allison's dad is. She adopted dad as just one of her own, and they've taken him in and all that stuff. We love that. But these guys are just rock solid superstar players, and their story is great. I'm going to let them explain it, but they're over 1,500 people in their organization now. They've been here 3 years. As of last month, 3-year anniversary, 1,500 people in 3 years. Three time, yeah. What's that award? Icon. Oh, that's right. They're 3-time icons, which means they got a lot of stock, and they're just superb, good friends, really sweet. We love you guys so much. Thanks for being here today, Craig and Shelly.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks for having us for sure.
Hi, everybody.
Hey guys, thanks for being here. Well, so you guys have a huge real estate team, and you guys they're partners. They're both married to others, so they're Craig LePage and Shelly Johnson. I just think it's so funny because when you discover that, I mean, they're daytime husband and wife, right?
Yes.
Right? They support each other. Trained at a high level, both on the
He
real
puts up with me. He says we're going to be seven.
And you guys have done big things. We were talking about a rut, or else we were talking also about how to get the train out of the station, how to keep motivated with the calling, the ego behind. So why don't you guys kind of start there? And what have you seen? How have you nurtured people on your team, and how have you helped yourself when those things happen?
So ruts are an interesting thing, aren't they? You get stuck in them. And it could be anything. We all find ourselves there. It doesn't matter who you are. I mean, we all go through periods of time where we're like, okay, what am I doing? And you're trying to reevaluate yourself and figure out a way to get out. And a lot of times I think, my husband this morning was talking to me. He's like, if I just step away from something for a period of time and go back at it, sometimes like he'll grind at something and we get nowhere. He'll come back 2 minutes, come back a few hours later and start again. And then all of a sudden he gets a win, or something, it changes. So I think it's just a mindset shift. And that's the biggest challenge is we get stuck in our own mind. And if we can make it that phone call to somebody on this group or anybody in EXP who inspires you, because there's a ton of amazing people who inspire us in this company. I really, you guys are so fortunate with Don and Allison because they are very inspiring. They inspire Craig and I. So when you can reach out to somebody, it doesn't have to be Don and Allison. It could be somebody else on this call. You're like, I just connect with them and say, look, I'm having a struggle today. Help me. I ran into this roadblock. We hit these real roadblocks where we're like, I can't get past this. But I think sometimes just if that's how you can move your mindset or change it, do that. I listen to podcasts of different people, and I have my go-to people that I just know that if I listen to them, it's going to change my mindset really quickly because, so that could be it. I mean, just have a podcast list that you like that inspires you. Sometimes too, I think if we have a friend, doesn't even have to be someone in this industry, as crazy as that sounds, but just have that person you respect to go, hey, when I call you and I tell you I'm hitting a roadblock, I want you to help me redirect. There's people in our lives that can help us do that. So it's just that trust factor of knowing that if you call that person, that first of all, they're going to help you redirect and not take you back down negative, because you don't want to call the person who's going to take you down in the rut deeper. We all know those people. They're going to go, oh, great, they're in a rut. Let's dig it. Let's make it harder to get out of. So don't call that person. That's kind of the great thing about us being partners. You joke about us like the husband and wife thing is like, I mean, I come in, I'm in a bad mood, and he's like, what's wrong with you? Or vice versa, So, I mean, you got to have those people that kind of shake you up and make you think a little different.
That's awesome.
I love that, Shelly. I love that.
Yeah, I got so excited about you guys. Go ahead.
We're stepping on it. Yeah, I love that. I love the energy behind that, and the fact that you even, it's like I need somebody that I can just bounce ideas off, just somebody to say, hey, I'm in it today, I'm not feeling it, and I just need a little boost. And I love, actually, one of the great resources, it's not just me, it's not just Allison, it's not just the leaders, it's like each other. I mean, Will's kicking butt. Mike Green is always fun to talk to. It's like just getting on the phone with somebody who's really energizing, and an Energizer Bunny really helps. Hey, Craig, take us back 3 years ago, because again, you hit your 3-year anniversary. Fun story. When you guys got started, it was really inspiring to hear how you came in, because you were very happy where you were. I mean, at least as I remember, you guys weren't looking even to move. Can you take us through a little bit of your story and catch us up on how you made the journey?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for that. And we were let's say, we were happy where we were, meaning we weren't excited to, like, we need to go or not go. It was really more, it wasn't about the place we were at. It was more about where we wanted to go as a business and the opportunities that we wanted to provide for the people on our team. So the story goes is that we were at a conference in Charleston, South Carolina, and we had been talking for probably months and months about, possibly doing something different. We were where we were happy, but we just were not really progressing. We were kind of like doing the same amount of production. We were doing a good amount of production at the time. We were doing about $40 million in production, and it was solid, but we kept kind of bouncing around 42, 38, 40. And we needed something different. And it was our business really wasn't growing the way we wanted it to grow. So we started to look for different opportunities. We're always about changing our business. But long story short, we went to this conference in Charleston, and Shelly basically leaned over and said, hey, we were eating dinner with a bunch of people on our team who we love. They're like our family. And she's like, you know what? We're only as good as our next deal. And she just said it like that. And I was like, what? She's like, we're only as good as our next deal. Every time we do a deal, we basically got to start over and go do it again. There's no end game for our agents. She's like, we'll probably be okay. We sacrificed some blood, sweat, and tears to build this team, and our team's doing really well. But, she's like, I'm worried about the people that they're like our family. 10 years from now, are they going to be in a good place? So at that point, we made a decision to come up with this genius plan that we were going to start this model that gave back to the agents. And we were going to do a boutique, and we didn't even know EXP existed. And we're like, we'll come up with like matching 401ks and bonuses, and we'll force them to put money away. And we had all these ideas. But I mean, talk about timing. We came back, and there was a gentleman by the name of AJ Maida, who many of you know. He was at KW. The funny thing is that we recruited him to KW, and he had left about, 6-7 months before that. And, AJ's doing his thing. He's that young guy over there, and, he's just kind of trying to create the new wheel and everything. And we didn't even know what he was doing really, but he's always a great guy, always. And I ran into him in the parking lot because he just happened to have his office across the parking lot from our KW. And he basically said, if you're ever looking to leave KW, you should take a look at this model. This company I just joined is awesome. It's totally different, agent centric. It's about the agent. You should take a look at it. Well, we had just had this conversation a week or two before. So I said, well, what do you got? He's like, I'll send you this webinar and take a look at it. And basically the rest is history from there. I mean, there's more to it, but we looked at this model and we're like, this is what we've been talking about, but on a much larger scale. And thank God we did it. And thank God we looked at it and were open enough to look at it.
Well, happy anniversary, #1. And what has happened to real estate business in 3 years? What happened? What happened to that $40 million mark?
Yeah, so that's one of the cool things. Like when we started, we just came aboard, and a couple months later, we started receiving these checks for revenue share, and we're like, wow, this is money we never had before. what if we took some of this money and we invested it back into our business and we really did some of the things that we wanted to do before, where we would have had to take that money out of our pocket to take that risk. Now we had this other ancillary income. So we invested in our business, and in 2 years from being at EXP, we went from 42 million to 78 million 2 years ago. And this last year we did 85 million. And even with COVID going on, we'll probably come close to 100 million this year.
Woohoo!
Bam!
Real estate lane of business, people. That's not even revenue share.
Boom shakalaka.
Yeah, boom shakalaka, exactly, Mike.
But the point to that story is we all have the same opportunity, and even if you're receiving $400 a month or $300 a month in revenue share, and you can invest a portion of that into your business is going to get better. And what other company can offer that?
The cool thing for us has been so this week I was with a friend of mine, and she's making $11,000 a month in rev share. And she was a $10 million, $12 million producer in Charleston. And the cool thing about it is she's actually that's over $100,000. What else could you do where you could run your real estate business and she has 10 level ones, and she has 130 in her organization. So that we're not talking about some massive organization, but where else could you attract 10 agents, have an organization of 130, 150 agents? She's gonna kill it. This girl is on fire. She's gonna hit 500,000, just like so many of you will. But it is so cool because I saw her rev share. I actually got to see it because sometimes I wonder if people are telling me the truth. So I saw it, and I was like, that made me so happy, because this is someone who worried about money all the time. She lived in fear of money. And money, I haven't read a book. It's going to call Money is Cheap, because it really is. But once we can get over it, it's so freeing. Not that we're rich or anything like that. I'm saying I felt that way when I had zero money, because money, it's all the energy we put in is going to come out later. But what was cool about that is she's making 11,000. Where else can you do that? That's amazing to me. And this is a single mom who, didn't have anything else but her real estate career. So that what Craig was just describing, that's why we did this.
Well, that's awesome. That's really awesome. And I was just thinking about how contrasted that is to the company where you were before, because I just got my last profit share check was 89 cents. So it's different than $11,000, right? Just wanted you to know.
Just a little bit.
Did I say that out loud? Did I actually say that out loud? I can't believe
it's true.
Yeah.
That's how we felt, same way. Sorry, Allison.
No, I think I love that she's only got, the story is great because it's $100,000. It's only 10 agents. And that really that opens up another level that's
totally.
When the growth, the exponential growth, the way the model works, that 10 mark is a really huge deal. So instead of thinking, it's almost, if you guys have ever run a marathon, you cut it down into some reasonable number besides 26.2, right? So
right.
4 miles. The only thing, anybody that's not at 10, just really focus on 10. And a lot of things start to change in that way. And see, she joined under Craig and Shelly, and, I'm sure, how did she tap in? How did you guys support her to get to that 10? Did she just go attract 10 people, or how do you systemize that support for your team?
It's been a process for her. And she's growing. So this is the crazy thing about this company. Yeah, you grow personally because you have to. It's fun. It's not like growth where your parents, we're having to grow. It's growth because she's growing as a leader in that growth. But how did she do that was basically, she knew some agents, so she had some connections, and she started working and talking the conversations. And as she started the conversations, those people, she either put Craig or I on together or individually to meet with them one-on-one. On a Zoom just like this. And that, I think, was a real catalyst for her, was actually leaning into us. I think had she not done that, she wouldn't be as successful, because one, she doesn't know, not that we're so smart, it's just that we had more time in, we've done more, it's like doing a transaction in real estate. The more transactions you do, the more innateness it becomes to your life. So the more times you hear that person on that Zoom helping share the story to that agent that's looking at the company, then they start to it starts to stick to you. All this knowledge just starts sticking to you. And then I'm watching her support her group, and it's like you can't, and then she has everything she needs to grow more. So
that was awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Hey guys, everybody open if you got a question for Shelly and Craig. I mean, these are wizards in the business. I mean, these are people that have done just remarkable stuff. And to think about 1,500 people in their organization in 3 short years, they obviously have some secrets. Although not probably secrets that they're willing to share. So
yeah.
Who's got a question?
I'll go ahead.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
It's more of a process question when you grow the way you guys do. And thanks for everything you shared, by the way. It's really inspiring. You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
But when you grow the way you do, I always wonder about process. Like when you have an agent join, from the minute they join, from then on, like what is your process onboarding them? And then once they're onboarded, like, do you have any kind of follow-up process, or do you just kind of just leave them to, their fate with the company and whatever happens? Because, we're really trying to care for our front line as we grow, but our group is getting bigger, and I don't really know always to what extent should we be trying to care for all of those people versus our first 2 front lines, and even sometimes just on onboarding people. I think maybe we've made it too difficult in the past in terms of just maybe trying to give too much of a white glove experience and not just letting it kind of happen. So I'd love to hear any thoughts or insights about just the whole process, the actual mechanics of it.
I would agree with you and say, I think it's important to let it happen, but be with them along the way, check in with them. Most people just want to know there's someone there that cares and that will help them. And if you stumble, you say, you know what, I'm here. If you have any issues, let me know and I'll take care of it. They just want to know someone's there for them. And then I would say once they're on board, you have to make sure they're plugged in. So you've got to show them all the resources that are available to them, but you also need to listen to them and learn who they are. Because if you start pushing them down a path that you think they're interested in, that might push them away. So you might be like, rev share is amazing and you should go attract all these people. And they're like, I just want my business to work, and I want to learn about how to lead gen or whatever it may be. You've got to listen to them and see what what their needs are, and then lead them down that path. And just check in with them often. Know that they're there, because that's where most people complain that, like, oh, I felt like I was on an island.
Right.
Or at any company. It's not just this
any
company.
Yeah. I mean, because when we were at KW, I saw agents come and go just because they felt that way, and that was a physical office. But to your point, so one thing we do that may be a helpful tip that's an organizational thing is we have we have all of our level 1s on an Excel spreadsheet, and then I have the full year tabs for the years, and then Craig and I make an effort to reach out to them with a phone call, an actual phone call once a month. So then I write notes in there like, mom has really been sick, and that way I can know that what's personal. Another really good thing I just learned was, vision boards sound corny to some people, not to me, but they sound corny to some people. But what's in our brain, we can't visualize. We can't, like, what we see, what we see in front of us actually becomes a reality. So like, that had like, Craig's buying hopefully getting a lake house. That's our goal. So he just showed me a picture of the house, right? He showed me a picture of the lot. I mean, now it's something we can see, right? So if he didn't have that in front of him as something like that he's physically looking at, it's going to be harder for him to make that happen. So when people join your organization, I highly recommend them do a vision, or at least share with you 5 to 10 things that are really important to them. Doesn't even have to be like the physical pictures. And then when you reach out to them, you remind them of why they're doing what they're doing. So remember the rut we were talking about earlier? We get in the rut because we lose why we're doing what we're doing. So, and one thing you could do is you could send them a picture of it. Say I had Craig's, like, I want to know what Craig wants, because if I can help Craig get what he wants, we're going to be able to get it better together. we're going to be able to get there together faster. And if I'm able to remind Craig, like when he's, not that you go down these, but if I'm able to help him stay focused on his vision, I mean, it sounds silly, but it really is true. So do that, put it on your mirror. I'm sure Don's probably told you guys this, to do that, but really keep it in front of mind, put it on your phone, like save it on your phone. I mean, put it on your mirror, put it in your, wherever you're going to see it. And then the people that you attract to this company, if you know those 5 to 10 things are important to them, then you'll be able to help remind them what it is, and you'll connect with them at a different level. Maybe send them a picture of their why, like snap a picture, go on Google and Google that yacht that they want and send them that picture and say, hey man, I'm thinking about your why today. I mean, that feels good. That means you know me, right? So that's a tip.
That's a 10. That's a 10, Shelly.
That's a 10.
I think that
takes
that's a
vision
10.
board and yeah, it takes it to a whole new level. That one-on-one, just that knowing. It's
Love
really,
that.
Yeah, that's really fantastic. Somebody asked, I think you guys touched on this too. That was one way, how to get agents started correctly. Now, Rebecca, you asked that question, and I'm assuming because this is attraction. Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about started motivated to attract, or if once they want to? Can you frame your question a little bit? Rebecca, you still there?
She's here. She's here.
Well, maybe you could say, how do you get agents started with attraction correctly, or kind of in gear? We'll go with that until Rebecca can unmute. Where'd she go?
What's the question? I'm not sure I understand.
Like how to get agents started correctly.
Oh, okay. Like with EXP.
I think so.
Yeah. That first 30 days is
one on board. How is the best way to get them started? I'm assuming with attraction. Yeah.
So I'm getting them started with EXP. So the first thing you have to remember is the most important thing to them is their business. So that first 7 days is critical to help them just as quickly as possible be able to get their business going. That they've got all their sky slope and everything. And I've done something simple. And one of the things I do is I'll go one with a new agent, and I'll make sure that their workplace is bookmarked to the top of their screen. Workplace chat, enterprise, and because on their laptop, because otherwise they have all these places to go and they don't know where to go. So if they're bookmarked across their screen, you can literally go and do a Zoom with them and say, look, now that you've got all your passwords, let's get everything in one place where you can get to it easily. So make sure the world's downloaded, all those things you can help them do right on a Zoom call.
And
does that make sense?
Yeah, so I want you guys to know, anybody that you guys were just talking about the My Expert Tribe site. So under resources, there's a link where you can request a concierge, Jean Frederick onboarding. Nicole runs that team. And so we actually have an extra layer of support to the onboarding team. So they watch along, they'll do that. They'll do the tour, and they will also do a tour of enterprise once they're fully onboarded. And so it really includes stuff like that, as far as, knowing where everything is. They share screen, making sure that they get, the EXP world.
So on that note, also, I would have them sit through Fast Start 101 through 103 at least. And a lot of that may even kind of overlap what you're giving them with your organization. But I go back to what I said earlier, is get them plugged in. So if they know where all the resources are and they know how to use it, and if this happens, I need to go here, if people don't know where to go, say in the world, they're never going to go in the world because they get afraid of it. They're like, well, I don't know what to do there. But if they know how, like, where everything is, and I just went there and this person talked to me, it becomes very easy, and the repetition allows them to use that resource. When they don't use the resource, whatever it is, it gets farther and further away from them, and then they never use it, and then they never use anything, and then they get frustrated, and then they leave.
Amazing.
They feel disconnected. Yeah, they feel totally disconnected. And I think that's really our responsibility, guys, is that we've got the responsibility to keep bringing them into the resources, bringing them into the places where they start to feel included, bringing them into things that we have that are theirs. And the responsibility of each and every one of us as leaders is we have to know the basic things that move people into belonging and feeling a part of both EXP, the tribe. I mean, all of it, guys. It's like these are the things you're committing to. If you're not committed to that, then I really question whether you should be committed to agent attraction, because I think you're letting people down. The company is there, but I think you're bringing them someplace and going, hey, good luck. And I think that what we're hearing here is we really need to take responsibility. Will, your question was about that. Like, how do we really get people starting and going? Becky, great question. So,
well, I would, let me add this one thing. Like, and on that note, we have a Facebook group, a private Facebook group. I'm sure you guys do too. And in that group, so anytime the common questions that come up, like you mentioned, you have like a tour of enterprise and you have all these different things that you already have. We trickle those into our news feed, because everybody comes into the group at different times. So they may not have seen it, or they got busy and they never watched that video, but it also allows everybody to get refreshed and say, oh, I forgot we had that video. Where is that? Someone asked me that the other day. And the more people that have the resources and know where to find the resources, you just start working together in synergy. And now it's not, all Allison or all Don or all one, it's like everybody knows. You just put the question in there and 25 people give you the answer.
Yeah.
So
Thank you, Craig. That's amazing. And on that, Linda said understanding the whys are critical, and this is what Craig just touched on while I was thinking about that is then everybody knows. And so I came up with this, and it's true. If the EXP model, if every person acted perfect in the EXP model, which is no universe that anybody acts perfect in an organization, but Don and I would have our first level, and we would tell them everything they know. They would plug into us and the company, and then they would bring on an agent just like that. And so every agent would support only their first level, really. And then everybody knows all the answers in the end. Everybody's a leader. And so really, really, the key to expansion is your team is going to be as healthy as your support of your first level, because while they're coming in and while you're really getting them up to speed, that's how they're going to turn around and do with someone else. And so that's really, really important. So thanks, Craig.
Hey, Shelly, I saw you raising your hand. You were going to say something about that, and I don't want to interrupt that, but I do want to acknowledge we're at the top of the hour. And so what I wanted to do was, first of all, with everybody still here, is thank you guys. And I'm pleased, stay around. Let's answer a couple more questions. But if anybody's got to go because they set appointments around this, you guys are amazing. And I love the part that in this company, I could make a call to these two who have a lot on their plate. 1,500 people are responsible for, $100 million business they're responsible for, and if they would stop everything they're doing and be on this call with us today. So I just want to, open up your mics and just thank these guys, would you? Because this is why our company.
Thanks a lot.
Thank y'all. Y'all are
Why our
amazing.
company's great.
Keep rocking.
Love y'all. Y'all are great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we're gonna finish that. Shelly, Craig, thank you so much. We'll finish you were gonna say, and if anybody sticks around, we'll just keep talking until we all got to go.
I was just going to say that, to your point, the first 30 days is critical, and you can use an app like Hit 'em Up or Reach or something like that. So that way you're sending out these invites so the organization's creating stuff for you guys like this, what you're on right now. So you can get those invites out, but don't just rely on however it's getting out there, because people don't check emails. They're busy. Sometimes I'll text them like the morning of and say, hey, I really want to see you on there today. So excited. Don and Allison are doing this. So that your energy is going to bring the importance of why it's important for them to be there. So if each of you were able to do that, think about the power of every call, because the more people you get together, the more mind you have, the more you're going to grow. That's all.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Your energy, your excitement, you're going to drive what's important. We can't do that throughout the organization. We can do it on our first 2 levels. Wouldn't you agree, you guys? I mean, they really look to you as the leader. This is your organization as much as ours. And so, yeah.
Hey, you guys, Sean Rogers asked a great question. And if you were I go to Craig and Shelly, just a real quick answer. What do you say? Opportunity conversation with a broker or agent who's already successful or looks successful. How do you start the conversation? Craig, what's your favorite drop in to pick a scenario and drop into it? And Shelly, same thing.
I mean, I would start by, I mean, if you're already friends with them or have done business with them, I think it's, I mean, Shelly's going to say a similar thing, I think is just strengthen a relationship and grow that relationship and ask them about them and their business, and they will ask you about yours. But the thing is, you don't want to throw up on them. You know, you always want to make it about them, and it's a long play, especially if they're successful. It's a long play, and you don't get a lot of at bats with that person. So if you blow it by trying to hit the ball out of the park the first time, you're probably not going to get another chance. Someone else is going to swoop in there, and they're going to listen to them. So you got to be genuine.
That's cool. Great job.
For me, it would be like a lot of times I like they've not looked at the math of how it's going to impact their business. So maybe they've heard about the company, and I think that's where our block comes. I mean, I get that way too, to be honest. I'm like, ooh, I don't, you know, what to say. So I try to, you know, I try to come at it from like, you know, have you really looked at the numbers and how it would impact your business? I realize you probably heard about the company and know about it and feel like you understand it. But if you really looked at the numbers, I mean, there's no expectation. Just would love for you to really see how it's going to could potentially work for you. You know, we're friends regardless, and let them have the out. And then if they say no, then I just only talk about it for a little while, and eventually it might come up. But like Craig said, strengthen the relationship. I had another thought too, and it escaped me.
While you're thinking it, if you strengthen that relationship, I would also let people inside your world. So what you're doing, and you never want to say post stuff that is against another company or against them. These are the people you want to love you. So you don't want to like put it in their face. You want to say, I'm so excited about this. I'm so grateful to be a part of this. I can't believe we held this event today. And last year it was 20. And now there's 200 agents here in a room, and we're sharing and collaborating. I'm so excited to be a part of this. So share that experience and paint that picture, because people want to be a part of success, and they want to be a part of fun and togetherness and growth, you know? So you have to paint that picture and do it in a very positive way. And if you kept that relationship going, and every time you talk to them, you didn't mention EXP, they're seeing all that stuff you're posting. So they're getting curious, and they're going to ask you about it at some point. And that's when you're ready, and be very soft. Don't get overly excited, because it's easy to. And then just say, you know what, if you're interested about it, I feel like I'm close to you. If I could get this person on the phone, would you be interested in talking to them, and they tell you about their story and why they did it? If this, would you? Something like that.
Another thing for you guys,
If I were you.
If the other thing for you guys is you have Don, you know, with Hobbs and Herder. I mean, a lot of people know him because of his background. That's a real advantage. I would be like I would be sharing that on my social media. Like, I am getting top training from Don Hobbs. I mean, if any of you've never, I would post it. I would be like, I mean, if he was in my back pocket, I'd be so freaking proud of that. I would post it and be like, I just got the best training with Don Hobbs today. If any of you and then she's never heard of him, he is a rock star. And live off Don Hobbs, and EXP can be secondary. I mean, that's just an approach I would take. I would be just bragging to death about being a part of his world, you know, and taking every little nugget he shares and sharing it to the universe. And then Allison too. I'm Allison, not mean to like make you chop liver.
You're right on that. 100%. No,
but you know what I'm saying? I mean, he has the last name that everybody knows.
Don Hobbs. He's great. As Gene Frederick says, you guys don't know this. The Don Hobbs.
That's the Don Hobbs. Like, yeah. I mean, seriously. I mean, that is such a huge advantage. I mean, I'm just thinking, if it was me, I would share great knowledge from him, and you know, those golden nuggets he brings out and inspires you with, and they're going to want to be a part of that. That's just attractive, to be a part of something that you're growing from, and then you're willing to share that with them. And maybe there's even something, I don't know if you guys are doing this in your group or not, but maybe Don's offering some kind of special thing, coaching, I don't know, or something that's going to build their business. I don't know what you guys are doing, But if you can promote that, people are dying to learn from great people. So that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Wow, Shelly, that's a lot of pressure, girl. That's a lot of pressure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now I got to come up with a whole training program for these guys. That's awesome.
We've got some stuff.
That's easy for you.
Yeah, you're up to it, John.
No, but
that's awesome.
But seriously, like even the quotes or the training, the things he says that are inspiring to you that you can share on social media, it just shows that you're aligned with top people. That's my whole point, is you're not just slumming around with the slum people, you're with the top people.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys, I can't thank you enough for being here with us today. I love that, just you stopped everything and you've got so much to give, and there's so many places you could be today, and you chose to be with us. Thanks for doing that. And everybody that's here, you guys you just heard from two of the biggest players in the company. And when you look at rock stars and the influencers that we get to hang with a little bit, these are two of them that we just admire and love the most. So guys, thanks so much for being here. Craig, appreciate you. Shelly, you're always a favorite of ours, and thanks for being such great parts of our company. We really appreciate your heart.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for your time, everyone, hanging out with us today.
Bye. Thank you.
And everybody, thank you for being here today.